The phone call I had with him after the Harbour Cruise was the rudest I've been spoken to, probably by anyone in the history of me covering this game. I'll never ring Michael Maguire again because I don't care.
Ben Hunt. Hunt from inside 40. Ben Hunt hit it well. He's celebrating. It hits the post. It goes over.
Well, I'm doing a column on the Brisbane Broncos and that spectacular victory down there in Canberra on Sunday. I'm joined by Buzz Rothfield, my old colleague. But Buzz, I think it's time, in all honesty, mate, that you came out and said something publicly about your ongoing criticism of Michael Maguire and the Broncos. It's been condemnation from round one to here.
Well, are you prepared to apologise for what you said about Jason Riles on August 20? You know, they finished 11th. Since your column, they beat the Roosters 30-10, Warriors 26-22, Knights 66-10, 40 points to 14, their average. You know, can I write a column about you stuffing it up?
Well, Buzz, it's a bit different because the Broncos are in the prelim final and Parramatta ran 13th. The Michael Maguire, you've said
ran
from the
11th.
beginning...
Get 11th. Your facts right. They ran 11th.
11th. Okay, 11th. It's still not playing finals footy. But anyway, you said from the outset, Buzz, there were problems at Red Hill, and it all started around this alleged player unrest. Why did you write that? Are you prepared now to say that I got it wrong?
No, I'm definitely not prepared to say I got it wrong. Tell you why I wrote the column, because Madge had a lot of history at the West Tigers and at the South Sydney Rabbitohs, which you would admit that he lost to the Sheds and was sacked from both jobs, okay? I was getting mail early in the season after their army camps and the vomit buckets that players were spewing into at training, all that sort of stuff, that the players were off Madge. So I wrote it and I checked it. And I think my information at the time was probably correct, that they were off him. And I think Madge might have even recognised that and just pulled back that little bit, that slight little bit. I don't know, but I'm telling you what I think. So I've got absolutely no apologies to make. I'll go into the Harbour Cruise. Do you want me to talk about the Harbour Cruise column?
Well, I'm going to ask about the Harbour Cruise. Yeah, I do actually, because the Harbour Cruise is something that a lot of clubs do, a lot of teams do, yet you seem to pick out the Broncos and target them specifically when, to me, it appeared from the outside looking in to be quite unfair.
So they come to Sydney a couple of days early. They jump on Anthony Bell's $10 million luxury yacht that normally carries celebrities, you know, Michael Clark or anyone you see in Sydney Confidential, for a cultural experience on Fort Denison. Well, you know what? That's bullshit, dog. A cultural experience on Fort Denison. You know why I wrote that column? Because we got a responsibility to tell our readers what happens behind the scenes. And you know what happened 2 days after that Harbour Cruise? They played the South Sydney Rabbitohs, the easy beats of the competition, and they were beaten 22-14. And they were in a bit of trouble then, the Broncos.
Heads high. And the towel has caught them on nothing and got up and scored a try just to cap it all up.
I get that, but this is about the long haul, not about one result. This is about building camaraderie, and that's what it was all about. You can label it what you like, whether it's cultural or camaraderie or just mates getting together for a beer, whatever you want to call it.
If you asked me, at that stage of the season, they were in a mini crisis. They were. You know they were. And there were rumblings out of Red Hill. I'm sorry, there were. You mightn't have heard them, but I did. I'm prepared to give him a rap now and say that he's done a fantastic job with the side under the circumstances. And that victory was as good a game of football as I can probably ever recall yesterday. What about you? You wrote a column 2 years ago about Benji Marshall. You said Benji Marshall was no good. Then you wrote a grovelling apology to him. Come on. You're attacking some of the stuff I say. I actually stand by it. It wasn't just me that was concerned about vomit buckets and army camps. If you want to check with Clint Newton at the RLPA, if you want to check with people at the NRL, I think you'll find they had concerns too about certain training methods. I tell you, mate, the game has changed. You know, that great young footballer died from heat exhaustion at Manly Seagulls. It's a debate to have, Dog. The demands on players in the summer heat and the off-season preparation. It's a debate to have.
In June, you said on radio that Brisbane have no heart, no desire, no passion, and no idea. In hindsight, given they are 80 minutes from a grand final, are you prepared to say, no, I went too heavy?
Where were they on the competition ladder then?
I haven't got that in front of me.
Well, that's convenient.
At one point, you wrote that you are demanding that they change their playing style, which seems to be working right now.
I demanded. Well, how do you know they haven't changed their style? Maybe Madge read it and that was part of it. You don't know that. The phone call I had with him after the harbour cruise was the rudest I've been spoken to, probably by anyone in the history of me covering this game. And I'm not going to sit back here, have an opinion, and allow someone like him to just rip and tear. I stand by every story. I stand by the fact he was offloaded by the West Tigers and the South Sydney Rabbitohs. And I wrote it as I saw it. And you know what? I've been proven wrong, but I'm not going to apologise because they have had a great season. But you can't tell me they're doing absolutely everything now, right now, like Sunday afternoon, like they were doing earlier in the season. The place has evolved. The place has changed. They're obviously a happy footy camp there now.
Well, you said they've got a communication problem because this has been an ongoing attack from you all year on Maguire. They had a communication problem and that the players couldn't relate to Michael Maguire. Well, it looked like they related on the weekend.
How do you know that wasn't right when I wrote it? Do you think I just sit here and write stuff? Or do you think I hear from players and... Well, I'm telling you, I heard from player managers and I asked Badell, asked Ben Dobbin in Brisbane if I've got a source within the club who's been leaking to me all year. And that same source said to me, and mate, I cannot reveal them, I so wish I could, that Madge was having communication problems getting through to the team. Now, what coaches do, what very good coaches do, when they are having communications problems, they decide, is it the players or is it me? And Madge, for all I know, decided it was him. I don't know that. But things change in rugby league on a daily basis. And I'm sorry, Bulldog, if they're just my thoughts. And the day I worry about upsetting people is the day we stop doing our job.
No, I get that. I just think you've been very hard on Madge, and I think he should be applauded for what he's done.
I've said that. But I'm not going to apologise. Anyone owes an apology to me for the manner in which he spoke to me over the phone.
Well, just finally, Buzz, you wrote something that was negative toward him. I think he was entitled to have a crack at you, wasn't he?
There are people in this game not quite as intense as Madge, and this happens to me every week, and we pick up the phone and we discuss it like adults, right? That's the way I do business. And I'll never ring Michael Maguire again because I don't care. I don't care what he thinks. I'm paid to have a view. I've been around a lot longer than him. Yes, I haven't achieved what he has. He's won a great title at South Sydney. They're a wonderful side to watch. Reece Walsh, wow. And they've managed to unlock him the last month. You know how they've unlocked him? Because they changed the way they've played, Dog.
Buzz, we disagree. We'll leave it at that. Thanks, Buzz.
See you, Dog.